All right. Well, first of all, pretty selfish of you to get traded right before my city.
Hey, man, I had no choice in any of this.
At all.
I was warming up for a game. And
tell them very quickly, just very quickly, tell them how this went down, that you were right before the game, in prayer even.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was kind of the trade deadline, so it's kind of a crazy time anyways. So one of my teammates had been traded, and he was kind of in my position. And so, honestly, like, it sucked seeing him being traded, but I was excited for the game coming up because I was like, all right, I'm going to get to play a little bit more. So we go through warm-ups, and they start playing we go through starting lineups, and they're playing the hype video or whatever, and I'm sitting there, and I always say a prayer right before starting lineup starts. So I'm sitting there about to say my prayer, and my coach comes over to me and sits down and leans over, and I'm just oblivious. I'm thinking he's going to talk to me about the game and, you know, how to guard somebody like James Harden or whatever. And he leans over and says, hey, I was just told that you were part of a deal, and so I'm going to have to get you off the court. And my first reaction, I said to him, I was like, you're joking. Like, there's no. And he was like, no, I'm serious. And so I had to go back to the locker room, make that tough phone call to my wife. And, yeah, so now I'm in Dallas. I'm a Maverick. That's just kind of how it is.
Well, we miss you in Sacramento already. Seriously. Hey, all right, I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of God questions. But first, if you don't like sports, hang with me for a minute. I want to ask a couple sport questions. One, what was it like to play in the Final Four and the national championship?
Yeah.
So Justin was a high school McDonald's All-American, ACC Player of the Year at North Carolina, played in the national championship twice, lost once, won once. But what's that experience like playing on that type of stage?
I mean, I think the first thing is it's different than any game you play in. You play in football arenas for the Final Four. So we were in the year we lost, we were in the Houston Texans football stadium, and then the year we won, we were in the Cardinals football stadium. So, I mean, the amount of people that come to those games, it's pretty crazy. And then just knowing that you're, you know, top four, and then once you make it to the championship, top two teams in the country, it's a pretty crazy feeling, that's for sure.
Tell me, hardest guy you've had to guard in the NBA?
Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant.
That's heartless. They're all happy about it. Why is he hard to guard?
Huh?
Why is he hard to guard?
Because he's 7 feet. That's probably the biggest reason.
That's amazing. All right, listen, last question, then we're going to get to some God questions. And I just want you to pray about this. After your NBA career is done, would you consider joining my City League men's team?
For sure.
All right, yes, you heard it here. I'm going to be like in my mid to late 50s when that happens, but don't worry about that. I'll just pass you the ball. We'll be good. So good. Tell us a little bit about your God story. Tell us your journey with Jesus, both how you got saved, but not just how you got saved, but how you really decided to go all in with God.
Yeah, so, I mean, I grew up, you know, my family, we always went to church. God was, you know, the most important thing within our household. But as I got older, I realized that my relationship with God was more because of that. It was more because my family said we were going to go to church. And, you know, thankfully, I still have some great friends that I met through church and guys that, you know, we kind of hold each other accountable and things like that. But going into college, that was kind of what my relationship was based on was, you know what, like we get up on Sunday, we go to church, we do all of those little things within church, but I didn't really have like a true relationship with them. And so going into college, you're thrown into, especially going in as a basketball player to a school like North Carolina where, I mean, they look at you not really as normal people, more of like superstars and celebrities and stuff like that. You know, you're thrown into a lot of different things that aren't godly. And so, you know, going through that, you know, I went through some things, and, you know, I don't want to say I went through some things as if I went through some terrible things, but I had to really learn and try to figure out, you know, what kind of life I wanted to live. And so going through college, you know, I had to go through that. Once I got drafted, I actually married my wife, Brooke, right out of college. And so there was a bunch of new things that I had to experience, you know, getting married, moving to a brand new city in Sacramento, you know, being on a brand new team. The NBA is totally different when it comes to the type of people and the type of things that people do, whatever. But it wasn't until, you know, I really realized, okay, you know what, like I'm playing basketball not because of the things that come with basketball. I'm playing basketball because, for one, God gave me the talents that I have. He blessed me to be 6'8", all those little things. And so if I don't give my all in basketball, then it's almost me disrespecting him with the stuff that he gave me. But then for two, me and my wife's whole motto is trying to change the world for the better. And so having the platform, you know, within the NBA, it was easy for me to be able to, you know, use, you know, whatever, social media, whatever. And a lot of people see that. And so once I realized, like, okay, you know what, I really can have an impact in this world more than I think I can. And so once I did that and really began trying to get closer to God myself and really trying to have a relationship with him and, you know, just be loving and caring and, you know, all the things that he asks us to be, life has been so much better.
You mentioned the NBA and being in North Carolina with celebrity and all that. In the midst of fame, in the midst of money, in the midst of everybody kind of idolizing sports figures, how have you stayed anchored in your relationship with the Lord?
I mean, I think it's just knowing what I want in this life. You know, you have to be, what I realize is you have to be okay with being the odd man out sometimes, or being, you know, I was joking in the locker room the other day, even with the guys here at the Mavs, and they were talking about how in college I was a big cornball.